The latest tech.
I'm Alexa. I can answer your questions.
Interviews.
And we are evolving, and we are seeing an amazing opportunity that is happening.
Accessibility.
Accessibility is one of our core values.
This is Double Tap TV.
Welcome to Double Tap TV. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to get involved, please email us. It's feedback@ami.ca. On Twitter, we are at Double Tap Canada, and use the hashtag AskDoubleTap. I am Mark Aflalo, joined every single week by Stephen Scott. Stephen, how are you feeling now that it's been over 6 months that we're in lockdown?
I know, it's just crazy when you think about it, isn't it? That we've been in this position for so long, working from home as I've been, as you have been as well. And is it wrong to say I'm actually enjoying myself a little bit?
No, I mean, there's a lot of people who are enjoying the somber, peaceful homeness that is their home office, but then there's other people that want to rip their eyeballs out and just are just desperate to find some kind of human contact. But I think that I agree with you. I'm kind of enjoying it as well.
Yeah, I've found this. I mean, I must admit, I'm a bit of a solitary figure anyway. But the other thing for me is, more truthfully, I like everything to be in the same place, the way I left it last time. So, and that's a bit of a blind thing, but I think it's maybe a bit of an OCD thing as well. I kind of like my world to be the same. So for that reason, being at home, working from home, coming into the office in inverted commas every morning, is kind of nice because I know where I left my mug the night before, so that's not going to fall to the floor and be smashed. No one's going to have left a cup of water on my desk. My keyboard, my computer's all set out the way I like it. So that's what I love about working from home.
Well, this week we wanted to talk about some of the tools and some of the things that make working from home that much easier. It makes the job, to get the job done, a lot easier, and makes that environment a lot better. And there's so many categories and products, from chairs to desks and lights, that people have been using to make their work from home spaces more efficient and more conducive to work. So, Stephen, let's start there. Let's start with your and my workplaces, which probably differ a bit from others because we've been working from home for, longer than the lockdown. What are some of the basic items that make your area, like your desk area, more workable for you?
Well, that's right. I mean, like you, I had been doing this for a while, and I've always had a room in my home, been very lucky, I guess, to have a room in my home where I can spread out, have my man cave / office, which is what it's all about for me. And originally it was a desk, and then in the corner I had a little sofa and a TV on the wall, and I was able to have my bit of chill out space as well. But, since lockdown, I'm doing a lot more work at home and lots of different kinds of work at home. I've needed to get rid of my sofa. Still got the TV on the wall though, not getting rid of everything. But I've got a lot of different kit in here now. Obviously, because we do radio, we do TV, we do lots of different things, we need a lot of things that a lot of people would never need in their homes. I mean, most people don't need, 2 mixing desks and, a TV camera in the corner. That's not often the case for most people's homes, I guess. Although you might be that person. And if it is, and if that's the case, good luck to you. But for us, we need that stuff. But for most people, what do you need? Well, first off, you need a desk. And that's a really important thing. A lot of people just think, well, I'll balance on my, lap with my laptop, or maybe I'll just sit at the kitchen table. But think about posture. Think about your body. I'll be talking about this later with actual practical products you can buy for any position. But ultimately, you really do need a desk. You need a good, comfortable chair as well. And you can actually buy these chairs, office chairs, that are what they call 24/7 operator chairs. And that means that they are built for places of work where, lots of different people are coming through, lots of different shifts are happening, and, those chairs will be sat on for a long time. Now, I'm a bit of how can I put this, a larger guy. So having a bit of a chair that's, let's just say, a bit more durable is a good thing. I'm trying to be kind to myself here, Mark.
I noticed that. I noticed you're trying hard.
Yeah.
you know what? For me, it's having 2 monitors and having those monitors perfectly placed. I know this sounds nuts, but the height of my desk and the height of my chair play a giant role in how I work. If it's not just perfect, I get tired, my eyes get tired, my neck hurts, my legs start to hurt. So I think it's super important to focus on the placement of those things.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk a bit later about that as well, because there's a product I want to share with you on that. But it's interesting. A lot of people ask me, well, if you're not using the screen very often, or if at all, why do you care where your laptop sits or where your monitors are? But it actually matters. Now, for someone like me who's visually impaired, even though I might not be using the screen, I do like to have my screen at a certain height. And that's only because I can sort of see something going on the screen, so I've got a sense of what's happening. Because my eyes are able to see something, they're looking at something. So having, something to look at has to be at the right angle, otherwise your neck starts to get sore, you start to sag, all the same things that happens to everybody else. I might not be looking at the screen, but I'm still aware of what it's doing, and that's what I'm focusing in on. So it's really important to have that.
There's a lot of different products and things that have come out that are actually available now that have made my life easier, and I know have made your life easier and everybody at home's life easier. So let's take a quick break and let's come back and dive into some of those actual specific products. This is Double Tap TV. We want to know what you're doing at home. Our email address is feedback@ami.ca, and on Twitter we are at Double Tap Canada, and don't forget that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap. We'll be back in just a moment.
Love Double Tap TV? Listen to AMI Audio for Double Tap Canada every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for news and reviews on everything tech. This is Double Tap TV.
Welcome back to Double Tap TV. Thank you guys so much for being with us. I know you've got your things at your house, your home office to make your space feel better. So do let us know. The email address is feedback@ami.ca. And on Twitter, we are at Double Tap Canada with that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap. I'm Mark Aflalo with Stephen Scott, and we are talking all about working from home. Stephen, you're going to talk us through some of the toys you use in your home office, and you're doing this, of course, from the comfort of your own room in the house, something we may not all have.
That's right, Mark. I mean, it's so important to try and find a corner in the house that is your corner. If it's a room, then great, but even a desk in the corner of a spare room would be good enough, and everything I'm going to talk about here is going to work in that environment. So let me talk you through some of the tech and not so techy items that I'm using every day at home to make my work life easier, as well as relaxed. Now, like all good TV shows, the right sidekick is important. Now, in my case, here on Double Tap TV, I've got Mark. Hi, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you.
But at work, I've got Lady A. I can't say her real name, unfortunately, because she will be listening. But the Echo Dot I've got is pretty much essential to me every day working. Now, whether that is from being able to link up with my office calendar, my personal calendar as well, so that I'm able to find out what's actually on that day, to quick checks of how to spell words so that my emails can be credible and legible. I use that all the time, Mark. That is, even just for that alone, she is fantastic. And then even if you think about linking it to other smart home devices such as the Ring doorbell, you never need to worry again about missing those deliveries when you're stuck on that inevitable Zoom or Teams call.
Yeah, it's one of those things I didn't really think of as a home office kind of necessity, but you make a very good point. Like when I get the announcements, somebody's at your door, I can, pretend that I'm still active on that Zoom call and then move on to go get that package and come back like I never left.
Yeah, exactly. Look, second up, I want to talk about lighting, because for a lot of blind and partially sighted people, lighting is a bit of an issue for us, and can be even more challenging in the office because we don't have any control of the lights. But in open offices as well, think about those big windows, think about the huge amount of space. It can be absolutely excruciating if you've got a visual impairment, as I do, and a condition where your eyesight fluctuates through the day. So, light can really play a part in that and can actually be quite negative. At home, though, you've got much more control. There are many lamps out there that are designed for those of us with low vision. And I'm sure that your local sight loss organisation can help you find those and access them. But here's a recommendation I bet they're not going to tell you about. The BenQ, now if I said this right, Mark, because I still go on this, is it BenQ? How do you pronounce this thing? I think it's
No, it's BenQ. BenQ is the name of the company.
Right, so BenQ, they have this thing called the Monitor Light Screen Bar Plus. The plus is important, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it's designed to clip directly onto your monitor, which means it'll take up less space on your desktop. Now, you might think that the light would shine down onto the monitor and cause glare, but it really doesn't. And in my case, I am able to use my monitor with the light on without any issues as well. Now, this is helped by, and this is where the Plus part comes in, the Plus version comes with a built-in light sensor, very cool, that detects the amount of light in the room and adjusts itself accordingly. So you can use the jog wheel as well. You can brighten up or dim the lamp if you want, and it is adjustable during the day as well, which really helps me as my vision changes.
Okay, yeah, I know you've been harassing me to try this for quite some time, but how much does it actually cost to buy?
Okay, so it's not the cheapest lamp on the market, I'm not going to lie to you, but with BenQ's signature eye care feature, which is also on its monitors as well and aims to help protect our vision, it might be worth the money. Now, I checked the price out on Amazon, as I've done with all the products I'll be talking about here, and it comes in at around, you ready for this, 280 Canadian dollars. I know. Or you can get it without the jog dial wheel, which means, it just has the ambient light sensor and that's it. You can get that for 220 Canadian dollars. So yeah, it is a considered purchase.
Sometimes you have to say to yourself, is there too steep of a price to pay for something that makes your life that much easier? And this might be one of those cases. But I'll reserve my right to get back to you after I actually try it out, because I'm in a lot of meetings. Now, speaking of meetings, and especially online meetings, anything to make those meetings easier on you?
Well, look, it's something we all have to live with now, isn't it? These endless meetings on Zoom or Skype or Teams. Whatever platform you're using, having a decent headset to hear and contribute to those meetings is essential. Now, I use the, wait for it, Jabra Evolve 2 65T series. Not a mouthful at all and easily remembered. Well, it's a fantastic pair of headphones, frankly, that are open ear. That means they don't close all the way around your ear, so you can still hear a little bit of what's going on around you in the house. If the Amazon Echo tells you a delivery is about to arrive, you won't miss it. The ear cups are soft and they seem to me to be made from some kind of memory foam. So that means I can have them on for a good couple of hours and not end up with sore ears. Remember though, this is a headset designed for conference calls. It's not a gaming headset. This particular one I bought is built for Microsoft Teams. This is what I use most of the day. And it means that if I want something, I want it built for the job, right? So this headset can be paired to your laptop via Bluetooth, but it can also be paired to your PC using a tiny little dongle. Now, Mark, I know you're going to ask me about price, so I'll save you the hassle. We're talking 320 Canadian dollars here from Amazon.ca.
Okay. Okay, fine. 320, and I know that you love it, the fact that it's wireless, but I find that wireless means I'm going to lose this thing. I'm not going to know where it is. I'm not going to be able to grab a cord and follow it. So when I start talking about my office, I'll give you an alternative that not only won't break the bank, but also is wired. It has a wire still attached. We talked about chairs earlier, so I see postures on your list here.
Yeah, I want to talk about posture. It's very important. How many of us are cramped over laptops now, causing ourselves actual pain in our shoulders and our lower back as well? Yeah. Now, ideally, you want to sit back and look at your laptop screen at the same level you might with a desktop monitor, say. But hey, maybe you don't have room for a monitor on your desk. Maybe you don't even have a desk, right? Well, the 12 South Curve is a great option for this. It relieves the pressure on your neck and shoulders and helps you get good posture while you work. The Curve raises the monitor up to a more healthier and ergonomic height, bringing it in line with your eye level. So the stand itself is one I've bought, but there are plenty other options out there, different styles as well. The Curve is, as they call it, aesthetically pleasing, and if I'm honest, it's really built for the posers out there like us with our shiny MacBooks. Truthfully, any laptop of up to 15.6 inches will sit comfortably on this and look good as well. Now, the name Curve refers to the curved half-moon style bottom of the stand, the bit you actually see underneath where the laptop sits. Handy for keeping your keyboard out of the way as well when you're finished work.
Stephen, my picks are coming up next, but clearly you have done way more homework and thought this out in way more detail than I think I ever could. Let's try to limit it to, I guess, what I'll do, like 3?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to, because I could honestly talk over the next 10 episodes of all the stuff I found in here and stuff I want to share with you. We've got to do another one of these shows soon, Mark, honestly. But I realise we only got so much time here, so let me tell you about a couple of other things around here that make my day easier. So imagine the scene. You've just got yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee and you've sat down to enjoy it when the phone rings and it's the boss. Huh, typical. Well, you just know that the next half hour is gone and the tea or the coffee is going to be cold at the end. Horrible feeling, right? Well, tech can help. The Ember Mug is a coffee cup that keeps its temperature. In fact, you can decide what the ideal temperature is, and once your drink is poured, it will keep it at that heat for around 3 hours. This is so cool. You even get a little charging station that looks and acts just like a saucer. Looks and acts like a saucer. I can't believe I'm saying that. But yes, that's where you sit the cup on to charge up. The whole thing is ceramic and it's very easy to use. Like everything else, of course, these days, it's operated by an app. And While the app, I must admit, isn't the most accessible on the phone, it is incredibly accessible on the Apple Watch. You can control the temperature right from your wrist, and Mark, it even lets you know when the drink is at the right heat. So cool. I mentioned that it's ceramic, and the reason I did is because even though the cup obviously is warm, it heats up on the inside, doesn't heat up on the outside. So, the outside of the cup is relatively cool, the bottom doesn't heat up either, as I thought it might, since that's where the battery is.
I had the larger version, and I just wish there was always some way that you could charge it and keep it hot while it's actually in your car. But alas, no solution there yet. You got some other trinkets there on your desk. I know we talked about this last week when we were planning for the show. Some stuff that, silly things that will make, the day go by a lot quicker. What are those?
Yeah, exactly, and I think it's an insight into my mind. So finally, I wanted to share some silly things I've got in my home office that I thought might be useful or just amusing. First up is my silly pen holder that is shaped as a dead man on his back with a hole in his heart, where you put your pen in. Now, I know this feels and sounds weird, but oddly, it is very satisfying.
Stephen, not
Honestly,
at all.
it is very satisfying in some of these annoyingly long Teams calls that I've been on. I'm a bit of a fidget, so I like to do things with my hands during meetings, or what I'll just do is grab a bag of chips and start munching. And to avoid that, I got myself one of these. This is a fidget spinner. This one is metal, it's quite heavy, and it sits on the desk, and quite simply, you spin it. That's it. There's no other purpose for this thing in life. Now, when the dead man with his pen and the fidget spinner doesn't quite do the job, I've got my squeezy penguin. Yes, I have a squeezy penguin. This is a penguin that you can legally squeeze the life out of every single day, should you choose. You can, of course, get all of this nonsense online and some novelty stores as well. They're just for fun, but sometimes it can be great when you're just having a bit of a day, shall we say.
I've got some must-haves as well, Stephen, so let's take a quick break, and when we come back, it's my turn, okay? I'm going to let you guys in on my secrets. This is Double Tap TV. We'll be back in just a moment.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit ami.ca/doubletap. This is Double Tap TV.
We are back on Double Tap TV talking all things work from home. I'm curious what you guys at home are doing to make your working from home life a lot easier. So please email us. It's feedback@ami.ca, and reach out on Twitter if you want. It's @DoubleTapCanada with the hashtag AskDoubleTap. Stephen, I always like to start with the things that I stare at the most, and other than you, that is my monitor. When the lockdown began, VOCINO sent me over a very cool gaming monitor, and the model is the VX3268. There's also a 2K PC MHD out there, but we'll get into the details. This is a 32-inch curved monitor with a 1440p resolution. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why am I getting a gaming monitor? Well, gaming monitors are also some of the fastest displays on the market, so when you're into video editing or audio editing, it actually makes a perfect match. It's also great for those video conferencing, whether it's Teams, Zoom, whatever it might be, but also for consuming media on your breaks, I say in quotey fingers. Like when you want to watch Netflix or Amazon Prime. Not that I suggest you doing that during working hours.
No, of course not.
The curve is amazingly immersive because it really gives you that peripheral, so you don't have to focus on anything else that's going on in your house, especially if your office is placed in like a common area in your home. And the price tag is almost as expensive or as cheap as some of your smaller items, $448, which is kind of cool. And that leads me on to the second thing, and this is, you were talking about headsets earlier, and the one headset I wanted to talk about is the Logitech Zone. Now, they make this in both wired and wireless headsets. In my hand here, I have the wired version, and the wired version is very similar to pretty much everything else that's out there. It's got nice memory cushion type foam on the sides. You've got the memory foam on the headset piece, so it's comfortable for long meetings. You've got a really nice boom arm that sounds great on the other end, and that's really important. And same thing as yours, when you bring it down, it actually unmutes the mic. When you bring it up, it mutes the mic, and it gives you audible feedback as well, so you know that you're muted or unmuted, which is pretty cool. The benefit of the cord, other than when you drop it on the ground, you can actually trace it to find out where it is. You've got inline controls on the actual cable itself. So you can mute and unmute, which does light up if you're muted, and it will follow the lead of the actual boom itself to let you know what state it's in. But you can actually control your volume up and down, or your play and pause if you happen to be listening to music, which is really cool. In the box, although this is USB-C, actually, sorry, yeah, there we go. It's USB-C. They included a USB-C to USB-A adapter, which isn't a common one that you would have normally around your home. Normally it's the opposite, it's A to C. So they actually included that in the line, which is really cool. And this retails for under $200. So it's great for the conference calls, great for Teams meetings, etc., etc. Okay, there's one category that I'm going to talk about, two products here, and then we'll wrap up the show, which is, you know, your internet is great. It's awesome that you have internet at home, but without a reliable router, what are you going to do? Like, you're not going to be able to connect to the internet at the proper speeds. There's so many people out there that have this great gigabit quality networks, but don't have a quality router to go along with it. Now, years ago, I stumbled upon this company, Ubiquiti. Ubiquiti's been making commercial grade equipment. We're talking about routers, switches, access points, but they're trying to democratize the industry by not selling through big giants. They sell direct, and they sell at incredibly affordable prices. So the router that I use is the Ubiquiti Unify Dream Machine, okay? Now, what's good about the Dream Machine is that it is a cylindrical design. It's got 4 ports of gigabit networking on the back, so a built-in switch, built-in quad-core processing. But since it's enterprise grade, you get control like you've never had before on any other router. I'm talking about firewall controls, routing. It's got a complete line of graphical user interfaces that allow you to add access points and grow your network very, very organically. The interface is phenomenal because it's meant for large enterprises. You can get multiple sites, so you can actually control different networks if you want to, if you happen to do that on your regular basis. But in terms of regular networking, this thing absolutely blows away the competition. You can set up filters. A lot of people are bringing home computers and need to set up these rules on their network because they have to open ports for VPNs and different access to different things. It makes life so much easier. And that is the Dream Machine Pro, and that retails for only $398. Now, fast forward to another brand within the same company, Ubiquiti, and they've got the Amplify brand, and they have got a router called the Alien. This thing is, number one, if you're into gaming, a must-have. It's a beautiful matte black cylinder with a glowing green light on the bottom, a beautiful touchscreen OLED display on the front that lets you control things like your network password, lets you cycle through information, who's connected, how fast is your upload speed, how fast is your download speed, and lots of other data. On the back of this device, a 4-port gigabit switch, so you can plug devices directly into it if you want to. Wi-Fi 6 is the biggest selling point on this, other than the really, really cool design, because you're going to want to keep this out on display, I promise you. Wi-Fi 6 gives you up to 4 gigabits of throughput on wireless. And these guys are meshable. So if you want to get more than one, if you've got a big home and you want to spread the love, you can get a second one and instantly mesh it. They've got a simple app that lets you set it up quite easily. And it's one of these companies that I love bringing up because when it comes to reliability and you want to keep something up and running and you want to just set it and forget it, Ubiquiti on the Dream Machine or on the Alien side is definitely a way that you want to go.
Well, I mean, I have many questions. I mean, it sounds amazing. You sound absolutely enthralled by it. My question is, does it come with a squeezy penguin? Because look, let's be honest, if it doesn't come with a squeezy penguin, who cares?
Guys, thank you so much for being here. I know you've got your own ideas, kind of like a squeezy penguin. Let us know. Email feedback at ami.ca, or you could tweet us at DoubleTapCanada with the hashtag AskDoubleTap. Thank you so much for being here. On behalf of Stephen Scott and the squeezy penguin and dead guy that you stab, I am Mark Aflalo. We'll catch you again next week here on Double Tap TV.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit ami.ca/doubletap. Hosted by Mark Aflalo and Stephen Scott. Editing Will Attar. Production assistants Wendy Kaufman. Content review Zachary Aflalo. Voiceover Anna Vocino. Integrated Described Video Specialist Ron Rickford. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Kara Nye. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming John Melville. President and CEO David Errington. Copyright 2020 Accessible Media Inc.